All right, guys, so let me make it clearer now. So for the zero conditional, as you can see here, you have the if clause and the results clause, right? We call it the main clause. So if something happens, then something else would happen too. If you leave ice in the sun, it melts. So if plus the condition gives us a result. And both should be in the simple present or the imperative, even though it's not mentioned here. So the zero conditional is definitely used for facts, as we have seen before, and it's not supposed to be changed unless it is a fact made by someone, then in that case could be changed. But most of the time, facts, especially scientific facts, they never change. Or mostly never. Almost never. We have the if clause. Here, if you can see, we have the if clause plus the main clause. But here's what I want you to pay attention to. When we start, we can either start with the if clause or the main clause. It depends on how you want to say things. So if you start with the if clause, for example, if you stand in the rain, comma, you get wet. So have you noticed there's a comma right there? You must put the comma there. Why? Because each time you start with the if clause, you must definitely put a comma. So if you stand in the rain, comma, you get wet. Now, you can definitely start with the main clause, and you can actually go like this. You get wet if you stand in the rain. You can even say it very quickly. You get wet if you stand in the rain. You don't have to pause. Why? Because there's no comma. You get wet if you stand in the rain. But if you want to start with if, then it is necessary to put the comma. You can't say, if you stand in the rain, you get wet. No, you can't do that. If you stand in the rain, breathe, take a pause. It's a comma right there. You get wet. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. But you can say the whole sentence one shot if you start with the main clause, which goes like this. You get wet if you stand in the rain. You get wet if you stand in the rain. No commas, so you don't take a break. You don't breathe. You just one shot say the whole thing. So that would resume my explanations for the lesson. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna practice with some sentences. Let's see if you guys understood the lesson.